I want to talk about Biden being mad molding Biden. We have a report from Axios, which I thought was pretty funny, and I've only read like a single paragraph, and I wanted to save most of it for you guys. I wanted to see what kind of wacky misdeeds I could get exposed to. So what this article is suggesting is that privately, it is titled Biden's Private Fury, what a title, that Joe Biden is actually a mean old grandpa, and he cusses and he swears, and he's much different than the soft-spoken whisperer that you see in the media. Let's read a little bit from this article. In public, President Biden likes to whisper to make a point. In private, he's prone to yelling. Behind closed doors, Biden has such a quick trigger temper that some aides try to avoid meeting alone with him. Some take a colleague, almost as a shield against a solo blast. The president's sayings include, "God damn it, how the fuck don't you know this? Don't fucking bullshit me," and "Get the fuck out of here," according to current and former Biden aides who have witnessed and been on the receiving end of such outbursts. So there's not any audio clips of this. There's no any photo or video document, like evidence or whatever. But when I read the line, "Get the fuck out of here," that's just such a Joe Biden cuss that I believe it with no reservation whatsoever. The private eruptions paint a more complicated picture of Biden as a manager and a president than his carefully cultivated image as a kindly uncle who loves aviator glasses and ice cream. Look, I don't know if you guys have a friendly, kindly uncle, but you don't piss them off. No, you don't. And they're a different person at work. Some Biden aides think the president would be better off occasionally displaying his temper in public as a way to assure voters' concerns that the 80-year-old president is disengaged and too old for office. Some senior and lower level aides alike can be in Biden line of fire. "No one is safe," said one administration official. Biden aides still talk about how angry he got at Jeff Zients, then the administration's COVID czar, in late 2021 when there was a shortage of testing kits as the Omicron variant spread. A spokesperson for Zients told Axios, "I'm not going to speak to what internal conversations may or may not have happened between Jeff and the president." The White House declined the comment. There's no question that Biden's temper is for real. It may not be as volcanic as Bill Clinton's, but it's definitely there. Volcanic as Bill Clinton's. Look, I'm 22. I wasn't around during the Clinton presidency. Was it known for being volcanic? I didn't ever see him get particularly angry in public from any videos or pictures or audio I've heard. I assume it must have also been a private anger. Whipple's book quotes former White House press secretary Jen Psaki saying, "I said to Biden multiple times, I know we have a really good trusting relationship when you yelled at me the first time." Whippy notes, Psaki wouldn't have to wait long. Biden's temper comes in the form of angry interrogations rather than erratic tantrums. He grills aides on topics until it's clear they don't know the answer to a question, a routine that some see as meticulous and others called stump the chump or stump the dummy. Being yelled at by the president has become an internal initiation ceremony in the White House. If Biden doesn't yell at you, it could be a sign he doesn't respect you. Ted Kaufman, Biden's longtime chief of staff, when the future president represented Delaware in the Senate, told Axios that the Biden process is politically driven and has made him a strong executive. If there is something that's not in the brief, he's gonna find it. It's not going to embarrass people. It's because he wants to get the right decision. Most people who have worked for him like the fact that he challenges them and gets them to do a better decision. Some Biden aides argue that the president rages reflect his high expectations for his staff. Speaking Biden is a particular skill, they said. It can take years to learn to navigate his moodiness and anticipate what information he's going to ask for in a briefing. Some administration officials, many of whom went to elite schools, struggle with Biden's demand to ditch the wonky acronym-filled language and brief him as if they were talking to a close family member who isn't in the DC bubble. Biden's defenders acknowledge he can be tough, but they also say he can be more than generous and compassionate than many powerful politicians and can make them feel like a family. That's partly why so many aides have worked with Biden for decades and go in and out of his orbit. The big picture, Biden tries to conceal his temper in public, but occasionally has shown flashes of it, and some former aides have written about it. Man. In January 2022, he caught on a hot mic calling Fox News reporter Peter Doocy a stupid son of a bitch. A former Biden campaign and Senate aide who was chief of staff to Kaufman when he filed Bernie's seat in the Senate wrote about Biden's temper in his 2012 book, The Payoff: Why Wall Street Succeeds. He wrote that as a senator, Biden was an egomaniacal autocrat, determined to manage his staff through fear. He told of a time during the 2008 presidential campaign when the 23-year-old funding staffer got into a car with Biden. "Okay, Senator, time to do some fundraising calls," the aide said. Biden responded by looking at him and snapping, "Get the fuck out of the car." I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. You can't make me like turn on Biden for that. I don't know why. I just refuse to turn on Biden for that. The idea of because I've worked with politicians on fundraising calls before, and it is, you feel like an annoying piece of shit when you ask them to do fundraising calls, and on the other end of the spectrum, they feel like you're an annoying piece of shit when you ask them to do fundraising calls, even though they 100% need to do them. And the idea of Biden being like, "Get the fuck out of my vehicle. How dare you say that I do that I do these fundraising calls?" That's just funny to me. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to take this too seriously. Copenhagen told Axios that Biden hides his sharper edge to promote his folksy Uncle Joe image, which is why when flashes of anger break through, it seems so out of his public character. I think he needs to be publicly angry more. I said this on Twitter as well. I want to see more of this Joe Biden. I want it to be more like LBJ. And I don't mean we need Biden to take his cock out and show staffers, name it Big Jumbo, and see if he can intimidate them through his penis, okay? Not everything about Lyndon B. Johnson from Vietnam to him flashing people with his penis it was exactly the best, right? But
Alec Kyle Parker has donated $15. I'm gonna be honest, most of us wish we could be as mean as Biden and get away with it.
that is true. If we told people like, "Hey, Dylan, I need you to timestamp these videos, get the fuck out of my car." If you could do that, I mean, a lot of people would. Let's be for real. My goodness. But as I was saying, I believe that Biden showing more moments of anger, especially when it's around, running against somebody like Donald Trump or today's Republican Party, I think it could be very useful. I think getting angry about the issue of abortion, getting angry about homelessness, getting angry about the war in Ukraine, I think these are good things. I think these are things that show that Biden isn't just some dementia-riddled fool who just kind of fiddles and wanders around the stage and doesn't know what he's doing. I have no good reason to believe that, outside of some clips of him stumbling on his words. If there was one way to dispel that notion, it would be if we saw a real moment of Biden just straight up getting mad at somebody and getting angry at somebody. But it would have to be for a good reason. Like during a hearing about price gouging on prescription medicine. That's something where if Biden was like, "You rat, how dare you," something like a moment like that, I think would go a long way to dispel that image of Joe Biden. And if it's in the corner of working people, I don't think anybody will remove that folksy image. Everybody has in their lives somebody like that, fun, awesome uncle, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be the uncle. It can be a brother. It could even be a cousin. It could be anyone. But the thing is, that uncle didn't always have to be 100% folksy and fun. for people to take him seriously or to respect him. That wasn't the case. It wasn't he just won it all through laughter and like niceness. Oh, like you need to still stick up for your family and garner their respect in other ways. And I think Biden could not lose much by being a little bit more aggressive on the home front when it comes to the type of rhetoric he uses. Anyway, that's enough of this. Biden mad. Do you guys agree with me? You want to see more of angry Biden? I assume so. You guys are ruthless animals. Arrgh!